He just didn't seem to understand about a father, because he had a little friend that he played with in the street, and when this little boy's father used to come home from work, he would run up the street shouting "Daddy," and Roy would run with him shouting "Daddy." So, I mean, he didn't really understand that he didn't have a daddy.
I used to hear other kiddies talking about their father. My dad did this, my dad's got a new job.
Roy Peebles never knew his dad. He's on his way to Normandy in search of answers to the questions he's always had. He's going to meet Pete Matway, a veteran from Regina.
He so desperately needs to know somebody that was close to his dad. Now my duty is to give young Roy something about his dad that he could hold on to? I think so.
Part of this story begins on the other side of the world in wartime England.
Vor uns liegt Deutschland, in uns marschiert Deutschland und hinter uns kommt Deutschland.
It's 1939. Hitler's forces are on a rampage through Europe. Britain's Commonwealth allies have sent their men to join the war effort. Canadians from across the country, many from the prairies, sign up to fight for freedom and democracy. In a time of the Depression and few jobs, to get $1.10 a day. One of them is Roy Peebles, a 17-year-old from Moose Jaw, one of many Moose Jaw boys who joined the Regina Rifles Regiment.
Somebody called him Pebbles, so I called him Little Stones, but that was just between him and I, you know. It's just a little joke we had.
Eric Ashton joined the Rifles out of Coppell. He and Roy were buddies.
He was tall and lanky. Overseas they called him Lofty. He had these big ideas. He was going to be an architect. So.
They trained in England and went on leave together a number of times during those years. As Ashton recalls, they had a lot of fun.
Take in the sights and pick up girls if we could and so on. Soldier's life. We met these girls. Maybe Roy was in there dancing. Come out with two girls, one for me and one for himself. I know the girl I was with was called Mary, and his girl was Doris.
I looked at Roy and we just smiled at each other. And he came and sat beside me and we chatted most of the night.
Doris Jones had met the love of her life.
He was tall, he was dark, he was very handsome. He was very immaculate in his appearance. Even to carrying a nail file with him, he kept his nails immaculate. Each leave that he had, he came and stayed with us. And in June of 1943, he said that he would like to get married.
They were in love and didn't want to wait.
His hurry? Well, I don't know. I suppose he was just a healthy young man, you know, and just had all the natural instincts, I suppose.
And in February 1944, they were married at this church in Manchester.
In 3 days, we'd got the special license and arranged the wedding at the church. Been to buy the ring, as this ring. It's only a 9-carat gold, but he said he would buy me a 22-carat gold later on.
War doesn't stop for honeymoons, so they wrote letters. Doris from her parents' home in Manchester in the north, Roy from his military base on the southern coast.
And when it got to about the end of May, Roy's letters stopped, and I just continued writing to him.
The morning of June 6th came without notice.
This is the National News Bulletin. Canadian, American, and British troops landed on the Normandy coast in northern France.
Roy Peebles' regiment, the Regina Rifles, were among the first to land. Their losses were heavy. Men were blasted out of their landing craft by mines, killed by machine gun fire as they waded through knee-deep water or scrambled across the Normandy sand.
The girls started to receive letters, the mothers and the wives started to receive a card to say that the husbands or whatever had landed and were safe, or that landed and were wounded. And I waited for my card to come. And the more time that went on, I began to realise that I wasn't going to get one. And then I received the telegram to say that he'd been killed. His padre wrote to me, Captain Jameson, and it was on the morning of the 7th of June. And I don't know whether he was going to attack this rider on a motorbike, a German rider, but this rider threw a hand grenade, and as Roy turned, it exploded in the back of his neck, and he was killed instantly. Anyhow, that was the end of my married life, and just had to look forward to the baby being born.
Doris Peebles was 3 months pregnant. Her baby was born the next December.
And I named him Roy. I wanted it to be a boy, and I knew he was going to be a boy.
Doris Peebles raised her son alone.
Had one or two friends, you know, but they didn't really compare with Roy. I don't think there was anyone else I would have wanted but Roy.
If Roy Peebles had survived the war, he and Doris had planned to make their home in Moose Jaw. But that wasn't to be. Instead, young Roy grew up in England. Now, nearly 50, he's never met anyone who knew his father.
I don't know why he thinks so deeply about his father, but he does. You know, it's almost as though he's with him all the time. He would have been a good son to his father.
The first time I went over to France was probably when I was 23, 24. That was a devastating experience. I went on my own, and I stood in that cemetery. I can't describe how I felt.
Nothing would have been worth his death, no. No, I just wish I'd kept him.
In Regina, an old soldier has a lot to think about. He'll soon take a trip to France, back to Normandy, where he fought 50 years ago. Pete Matway was 18 when he signed up. He was a Regina Rifle, a group of guys from the farms, towns, and the Indian reserves in Saskatchewan. And he was a friend of Roy Peebles.
Roy was a very, very good soldier. He was a very good man, you know. Got along well. Yes, we did things that we weren't supposed to, and we got punished for it through CB and different things. But in heart, like, we all were good in heart. To describe him in one word, a champion. You know, he was a very good individual person to have as a friend. If he'd been here today, the world would have been just a little bit maybe better to live in. A lot of fun, you know. I don't think anything actually bothered him. Well, nothing actually bothered us. Eh? We were, you know, jolly bunch of Regina Rifle Regiment guys, eh?
50 members of the Regina Rifles died on June 6, 1944, in the Allied attack on the beaches of Normandy.
Yes. Christ, I made it. Cliff would say, well, I wonder how many guys didn't. And then you wouldn't talk about anything like that, no more.
Many more who survived would die in the next few days in small villages like Nori-en-Bessin and Bretteville, guys like Roy Peebles. The world remembers the men who crossed the English Channel that spring and those who didn't come home. Roy Peebles will always remember. He's taking the trip his father took, the shore of Normandy in sight.
What I know about my father is just memories that my mother has.
Normandy, France. Quaint old villages, huge stone churches, tidy stucco houses with flowers under every window. But the people of Normandy remember the summer 50 years ago when tanks of the Allied forces rolled through their streets, of the gun battles here and the destruction left behind. An Englishman who wasn't even born then walks these streets hoping he'll find some memories, the answers to his very personal search.
You are an hero, and I am pleased to make you this very small present.
Thank you very much.
There is a genuine warmth about the people of Normandy as they honor the Canadians who liberated them from the grip of Germany. Among the old soldiers here, a dozen men in their 70s, proud to have fought with the Regina Rifles.
Les combattants du 6 juin en Normandie sont aux yeux du monde entier des héros et des vrais.
Pete Matway is their official representative, brought over by the Canadian government. The rest have come on their own, and for reasons of their own. Some relish the ceremony. Some are here to share again a time no one else can be a part of. Every one carries with him some sorrow in the memory of a buddy who didn't make it.
The guy got hit again. He was wounded twice in the same day, and the last one got him. He was just a peach of a man.
And we pray that we may walk worthy of their sacrifice.
For Pete Matway, there is a mission as well.
I couldn't believe that I was going to be involved with this, that I was going to meet a son of a soldier I knew, It kind of gave me a feeling, you know, what am I going to say?
And then there were just two men,
Peter.
worlds and generations apart, meeting for the first time.
How you doing, Roy? Hey, yeah, pretty good. Gee, you look just like your dad. You do. You look just like your dad. God, you haven't changed.
Eh? Really?
You are your father over and over and over again. You look good.
I can't believe this. Really.
You look good. This is the scroll presented on behalf of the Saskatchewan government and its people, and it's in memory of your dad.
It's beautiful.
Your dad was your dad. I can't say enough about you. Your dad was a good man. He was a very strong individual person. His strength kind of rubbed off.
Well, there you are.
Sad when you look at it, the sacrifice that we paid for freedom. You almost want to curse it. Is it worth it? Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Time will heal. No, it never will. It will never heal. And you'll never forget. You'll never forget.
No, I live with it, but very difficult.
Pour le Regina Rifle, Madame Tubb.
For a few days in France, there is time to get to know each other. A rare chance for Roy Peebles to learn about his father.
Do you remember Roy Peebles? You've heard of him?
Yes.
C Company?
Yes.
Well, this is his son.
Oh, right.
Okay? And when he got to be a teenager, he took it upon himself to find somebody who knew his dad. And it took him almost 40 years, 35 years to find this out.
I've never been away from the guy since we came over here, and we've talked, and he's told me things.
I think he should have been an NCO because he had that leadership ability. Let me say something. We weren't angels. Don't think that I'm saying that we weren't angels.
We're in Brackville now, which saw a lot of the fighting, especially for the Reginas, and lost over 100 men in this area. Peter's taken me through it step by step, and it doesn't take the bitterness away, but it does help explain a lot of things.
But it was so long ago, and there were so many soldiers.
You know him?
I know him, of course I know him.
You know him, but you don't know him. Okay,
but then he was just another rifleman amongst hundreds, eh?
Okay.
What do you expect to do, kiss them all?
Well, yeah, I figured.
Still, Roy clings to each little piece of the puzzle.
Trying to find the point where he actually died, and I think it may have been here. There are certain references in one or two books that relate to the actual dispatch rider, which was mentioned in the letter to my mother. They would have been in this area. Yeah.
How do you feel knowing that?
It doesn't help. It doesn't help. He's not here anymore. It doesn't help.
It's been a long road back to Normandy for Roy Peebles, and for him, there is no journey's end.
There is no finality. No. Not for me. I wonder what it was all about. It's a foreign country. It's a foreign country when you live in England. It's a foreign country when you live in Canada, so far away. I don't know. And yet all those boys volunteered to come over. I don't know what my thoughts are, and I can't reconcile myself to why they did it. I often think that I wish his grave was over there, maybe, but then he's resting in the right place with his friends, isn't he?